family. I just wanted to cut this in real quick before we get into the main video. I recorded it a couple of days ago. It's a 30-minute presentation. I mean, listen, I would love for you to watch the whole thing so you get an insight really of who I am and what I'm about. But that being said, I am going to time stamp it because I know attention spans nowadays, we just want to get right to the meat. So if you want to get right to the meat of this whole thing, the title of this video is going to be called Why You Need Media for Your Business, right? Why you need media. You can just go right to that part. Just go to the end. I'm going over a couple of slides that I had made previously, and I'm going through that whole process. So you can just cut right to the end. If you want to know a little bit more about me, all right, my background and how I got started, you can watch that part of it. I also go into my experience. The first entrepreneurial experience I had was at 18 when I helped my mom run an in-home daycare. All right, that's the second part of this video. The third part, I really talk about my goals, like why am I doing this? What's the point of this business and why I started it? And kind of this YouTube channel really evolves around that. My goals. And then lastly is the presentation, why you need media for your business. The very last part of this, I answer the question, well, how do you know it's right for you, right? Are you the right business that needs to be here and tapped in with me? I would say this, look, if you're an entrepreneur like me, you need to be here anyway just to support me because I'm out here on this journey. So just go ahead and give me a like. Just if you support entrepreneurship, go ahead and give me a follow if you're on the journey in your business and you want more tips and ideas about branding, marketing, and business strategy and everything in between. Look, I wish you the best in all your endeavors. Until the next one, peace and love. Peace, family. My name is Blane. Thank you for tapping in with me. I just want to kind of go over a little bit of, who I am and what we do, right? My passion at the end of the day, and I don't know how much of this I'm really going to cut. I want this to be as raw as possible. There'll probably be a couple of transitions, maybe a few cuts here or there. But this video is not intended to be this pure polish. If we were sitting in the office right now, I'm just going to talk to you the way that I would talk to you about your brand, about your business, and what goals that I see for you, right? That being said, just know that all businesses are different. Every business has different goals. Every industry has different ways that you approach the business. I'll say it that way. So while I would say the principles are kind of the same, like if I talk about 7 steps to building a brand, right? I think that is universal in how you approach building the brand, but what you would tweak are the nuances, right? What I mean by that is like obviously something like your logo, right? That's going to be tweaked to your brand. Something like your mission statement, that's tweaked to your brand. However, the principle of having a logo and having a mission statement for your brand apply to all businesses. So that's what I mean by the general principles of branding. But then the nuances become, what about your business specifically and also your target audience specifically, right? So you're talking to a certain group of people. I don't like when people say, when I ask the question, okay, who's your target audience or who are you marketing to? And they say everyone. Okay, I can't stand that answer, and here's why. The more specific you are, the more likely you are to hit the target, right? If I focus on hitting the target specifically and I aim there, that's what I'm going to hit. Versus the general approach is let me just spray and pray, and hope I hit something by just doing a blast. But another way to look at it would be this. Let's say that you sell, I don't know, skiing gear, right? Skiing equipment. And you say, well, my market is everyone because I believe everyone can have fun, learn skiing. There's some great principles to skiing, like, balance and, paying attention to detail. I don't know. I know nothing about skiing. I don't know why I picked that. But anyway, and you say everyone because, yes, ideally you want everyone to shop at your store. But my mom is never, she's going to prove me wrong tomorrow. She's going to call me and be like, hey, I want to go skiing. My mom's never going to your ski shop to go buy skis. So the general statement of everyone doesn't apply. What would be more specific is if you said someone between the ages of maybe 25 to 35 or maybe even 18 to 25. Why? Because maybe they're more adventurous. They haven't settled down to a family yet. Or, maybe you're targeting groups of college friends, or maybe it's kids that just finished graduating from high school. So they're between the ages of 17 and 19 or whatever that looks like. And maybe looking for their first trip to go on, to celebrate, right? Depending on what packages you offer. So, that's what I mean just by being more specific. Obviously, talking to you about your brand is kind of where we get into the nitty-gritty. But I done said a whole lot without even telling you who I am and what I do. My name is Blaine McCullough. I'm passionate about building brands and business through the ideas of media. I've been a photographer and videographer for well over 18 years. Um, I started in 2003, I think 2002, 2003. 2003 for sure. I know I made my first video, but I think I picked up a camera the year prior, just kind of playing around with the idea and trying to figure things out. But 2003, I made my first edited video. And so that's kind of why, kind of go from that point because I remember that video vividly. It was a video called Slackers, and it was about this group of kids. I made it in high school. So it was about these group of kids who they didn't pay attention in class. So at the end of the class period, they decided to steal the test answers to whatever their final exam was or whatever it was. And so we made this video around the high school, running around. Stealing the answers to the test. And then like the group of friends that were all stealing the answers, like turn on each other and they start fighting throughout the school. Anyway, it was a crazy video. That was my first time messing around with video and creating a story. And I fell in love with the process, right? I was just having fun with my friends. So creating that video gave me the passion for telling stories. Um, and that just turned into the lifelong journey of, man, how do we make films? Like wanting to make films and things like that. I made short films, I've made documentaries, things like that. Um, Said all that to say, I then joined the military, right? And so once I joined the military at 18, I graduated. I wanted to buy a new camera. At the time, new camera cost like $3,500, and I had nowhere near that. Right, I was working part time at the YMCA teaching video, um, so it was going to take me a few paychecks to get that camera. I decided to join the military because I thought one, I'll gain experience, I'll be able to travel the world, and ultimately I would learn like discipline and organization and skill sets that I thought would help me. Not only that, to serve my country is something that I'd always wanted to do ever since I was a kid. I always wanted to go to the military. So I decided to do that and learn along the way. And I did that in 2008. So I was in the military from 2008 to 2013, um, end of 2013. Um, while I was in the military, I started working for small businesses. Word got out that, hey, Mac, he does a video. A couple of small shops called me to work on some videos for their store. And that's when I got in. About 2012 was kind of when I got into marketing for businesses. Now, mind you, in the military, my job was a multimedia production specialist, and I worked with psychological operations. The way that I explain it easy is just think of marketing for the military, right? So that's what I did. I worked on a production, four-man team, five-man team, whatever it was. We created content. Ultimately, it was my job to help the team create content for the area that we were in. I was stationed at the U.S. Embassy in Ecuador, worked there for a few months, and learned everything. That's where I learned about target audience, right? When you go into another country, you have to now figure out, look, you can't market to them the same way you market in the US. They have different pain points, we'll call them, right? Different triggers, things that mean something to them. Don't necessarily mean anything to us, right? Or vice versa. So you can't just market to another country the way that you would in America. It's completely different understanding. You have to really understand the culture. To flip that into U.S. business, you have to really understand consumer trends and where the markets are going, what's in style, what's out of style, this, that, the other. How are we communicating, right? It's a difference between doing a mailing campaign versus using social media. So all of these different principles I learned in the military, and how to really be specific about the audience that you're targeting, because even for our team we were in Ecuador, right, but there's other teams throughout the region, and so you wouldn't do the same marketing plan in Ecuador that you would maybe in, pick another team, Colombia, right? So every team had a different thing that they were doing. So that's where I really learned the importance of target audience. And the crazy thing was this, learning psychological operations, I just began a fascination with understanding psychology because I realized what we're actually doing, a greater way to tell stories was how do you engage with that audience? How do you really, and I mean, genuinely connect with them, not just, superficial. how do you make a genuine connection? And so that idea behind psychology and media is what I really just grabbed a hold to. And I just studied and studied and studied. And so I've read, even outside of the military, outside of school, I continue to read books on psychology, and media, obviously, marketing, all those kind of things. That's what I enjoy. Um, Here's why that matters to you, right? And if you're still here, it's because you're really passionate about your business and you really want to build a brand. So, um, if you're still here, why does that matter to you? Here's what I've learned in business. And again, I've worked with dozens and dozens of entrepreneurs, right? And I see a common thread. Most entrepreneurs are great at what they do, meaning, one of the first people I worked with was, oh man, what was her name? Come on, I'm going to remember. Hold on. Crystal Sweet Treats. That was the first video I ever did. Crystal Sweet Treats. I remember sitting down with her and her husband. Um, and I said, okay, what cupcake sells the most? She's like, I don't know. I probably make the red velvet one the most. I said, okay. What's second? Like what sells, first, second, third? Like what are your top three cupcakes? She didn't really know. She's like, I just make them all and whatever sells, sells. But I know that I probably mostly make my red velvet, and I forget the other couple of ones she had, but I remember vividly she said the red velvet one was one of her top sellers. Um, and it was in that meeting with her that I was like, huh, entrepreneurs don't really understand. She told me flat out, she's like, I'm not a marketer, I'm not a business person. She's like, I'm a baker. Like, I bake. That's what I love to do. I just want to be able to make money while I'm doing it. And so while working with her, I realized entrepreneurs don't really understand really the business or the marketing side of what they're doing. They're just passionate about making cupcakes. And she'd rather spend 20, 30 years making cupcakes for herself than struggling doing a 9 to 5. She knew that much. And so, with that information, her and her husband set out to build a bakery. And that was really it. There was no thought about what's my brand, what's my marketing, what's my target audience. That was irrelevant. She had amazing cupcakes and she loved to bake. What are we talking about here? That's it. Let's go. And she did. And most entrepreneurs do. And what I've learned over the years, the second business that I helped was the boot shop. Um, Awesome dude, Ramon. I mean, I can go on and on and on about that guy, but one of the first guys who really poured into me and really said, "Look, man, I believe in you. Your business is not going to fail because I won't let it." He was going to continue to be a customer of mine, or a client of mine, and continue to pour into my business, and he did. So, working with him, I realized you can also get tied to your brand. He was very tied to his brand. He's like, no, I love my brand. It's international, which it was. Um, but he wasn't too ready for change, right? And most entrepreneurs aren't. Reason being is I've already built it to this far. Why would I change what's already working? And sometimes in order to grow or scale further, you need to change, right? And so those are the couple of things. Those are the first two entrepreneurs that I started to work with, and that was in 2012. Started to work with them and just help them create some media just for their websites and things like that. Um, and yeah, that was it. That's kind of where the journey began. And so working with them, I just fell in love with helping entrepreneurs, right? How do I help you get further in your business? Taking it a step back, right? Prior to 2003, when I made my first video, in 2004, from 2004 to 2006, I was actually helping my mom run an in-home daycare. She did that, and that was kind of my first entrepreneurial experience working with my mom in an in-home daycare. And I think we had up to 12 or 15 kids at one time. Obviously, those numbers fluctuated. Some people come, some people go, but I think we had up to about 15 kids at any given time. And back then, I think, man, I want to say like the infants were maybe 150, 250 a kid. So we were doing pretty decently weekly. With the kids that we had. And so the problem, even with that business, what I learned working with my mom was, okay, what do we do next? How do we really scale it? And I think we didn't even know how to scale it. I think really because we didn't know how to organize it. We didn't know how to organize the business. We just started it. Well, my mom just started it, and I was just like, yeah, I want to do business. Like I love the idea of entrepreneurship even then. And even though I was getting into video, I had never paired the two at that point. I was just helping my mom with her business. Like I never thought, oh, let me go make graphics or flyers for my mom. Let me go make videos for my mom. I never put media and business together at that time. The first time that I really did was probably in 2012. So yeah, just working with my mom in that business, just learning, what didn't we do? Some of the things we didn't do in that business, we never had a waiting list, right? We took on the 15, and once we got to 15, we capped it. We actually stopped advertising. In hindsight, what I think we should have done, was kept a waiting list going, right? That would have been a follow-up pool where we go and we go, hey, we just had a slot open up. Are you still looking for daycare? Right. And we could have had a massive list of people that were looking for daycare. But instead, we just turned people away. Once we were full, once we were at capacity, we didn't know how to scale it, right? We didn't even know how to have a follow-up list. So when clients did actually leave, and eventually they did, unfortunately, my mother got really, really sick. She's actually in the ICU. And so she got really, really sick. And so we thought we were going to have to close the daycare down. And an amazing testament to the parents that we worked with at that time, they actually, and I think I was 18 at the time, they actually believed in me enough and my mom enough. They said, look, well, if your son can run it until you get back, we'll still bring our kids to your daycare. And I was like, no way, mom. Like, I couldn't bear the thought of running my mom's business while she was in ICU. Forgive me because I didn't mean to tear up in this moment, but just thinking about it, I couldn't think of running my mom's business while she's in ICU. There's no way. No, mom, that's your vision. That's your business. I'm not running it. I'm not going to run. And I didn't understand legacy at that point either, right? It would have been an honor. And some kids, they choose to go away from their parents' businesses, but from my point of view, it's the most honorable thing you can do is carry on the legacy of your family business. And I get it, kids out there, I don't mean to be a trigger point right there, but just for me, what I believe, it would have been an honor to run my mother's business and keep it going until she got back on her feet. I didn't understand the value of legacy and wanting to keep my mom's business going. It didn't make sense to me at the time. So we shut the business down. We closed the daycare. Uh, and until she got better. And once she got better, we thought about coming back. But there was a lot. She was going through a lot of health, issues at that time, and just a lot of things. And so we just decided to not do it, and maybe we'd bring her back at a later date. And we just never kind of got around to it. Um, so anyway, so all that to say, I've not only worked in a family-owned business for years. I've also helped entrepreneurs for years, and even now, running my own business, I've learned a lot of lessons. And every look, you're not going to stop learning lessons in your business. It's a continual growth and learning process. And one of the reasons why I wanted to build this company and really create this content, one, because I'm not someone who loves to get on camera. That's not my thing. I'd much rather be behind the camera. But what I really want to be able to do is document and chronicle the process of growth and chronicle the process of success, right? I'd argue that for most businesses, the success starts at making $1 million a year. So currently, as I sit here and record this video, we're not at $1 million a year, right? I want to grow to that, right? And then obviously the moving target moves. And so you then create a new goal. But the initial goal is, can I create a system in which I can generate $1 million, right? Business is all about creating systems. And so, that's what this whole experience is about. That's what this is. So, again, if you're still here, thank you. Hang with me. There's a point to all this. I'm just letting you know who I am, what my background is, where I come from. The whole point to this video is I'm going to explain to you why media is important. Why does media matter in your business? Why do you need media? Why do you need to be creating a brand through content, right? So, I'm definitely going to get to that. Just stick with me. I just want this to be a full, well-rounded video. Like I said, I'm going to talk to you as if you're sitting in my office. So if you're still here, thank you for your time, and I appreciate your time. I just want to go ahead and have this meeting with you. So that's a little bit of background about who I am, where I come from. I started in entrepreneurship when I was at 18 with my mom helping her daycare. I then joined the military. I learned a lot about psychological operations and just the psychology and media and how those two connect, understanding target audience because you speak to a third world country or just another country, excuse me, I'll just say it that way. You speak to another country completely different than you would your own. And so how does that relate into business? Your business is going to talk to a client or a customer completely different than this business, right? So understanding the nuances of target audience, I learned that in the military, and also operational strength, understanding how to set up an operation for the maximum success, right? When you deploy as a unit, you don't go into a mission to not accomplish the mission. Part of our soldier's creed is I will always place the mission first. The whole point of what we do is to accomplish the mission. That being said, have a mission statement for your business. Side note. All right. So yeah, that was me. I went to the military, learned the skills, got out of the military, and now I said, okay, I've helped some businesses while I was in the military. That was Crystal Sweet Treats and the Boot Shop. Um, man, I cannot leave this out. Sorry. Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, also a Army veteran. I'm sorry, retired, U.S. Army retired. Taught me everything I know about this lens. Right? He said, "You want to learn photography?" I said, "Yes." It was actually um, Ramon from the boot shop. He said, "Look, I got someone you gotta meet. You gotta meet my dad. He's gonna teach you about photography." Mr. Williams poured into me, right? So the importance of having a mentor is also very, very, very important, because they can impart into you things that not only they've experienced, but the things that you don't know that you're going to run into or need to know as you're along the journey. So Mr. Williams, very influential. In teaching me photography. I mean, I was a photographer in the military, right? But just really the part that he gave me was confidence. Confidence to hold the camera and know that every shot that I want to get, I can get it if I understand the art of photography, which the art of photography is capturing light. That's the art. And how do you walk into a room, assess the situation, see what light is here, and capture exactly what it is you want to capture? That's what Mr. Williams gave me. So I can never thank him enough. Thank you isn't even the right word. Um, he opened my eyes to the whole world of what this is on a whole nother level in terms of the visual medium. So I can't thank him enough. Okay, flash forward. So I get out of the military and I wanted to continue creating videos for businesses. And that's where I am today, continuing that journey of creating content for businesses and taking all the things that I've experienced from being an entrepreneur, helping my mother, to helping those entrepreneurs while I was in the military, to everything I learned in the military, to include Mr. Williams teaching me all of that knowledge. How do I now help you uh, build your brand? And so that's kind of where I'm at now. Forgive me, my light just went out, but I'm not finna cut this video. I done said way too much. So the light just went out. If you're still here, I'm going to still rock. I still got this other light going. But yeah, let me get through this. So I got a quick presentation here. I'm going to go through these slides, try to give it to you real quick on why media, why you need media for your business. So let's get into it. Okay, the first thing I want to explain, just so we're all on the same page, what is business, right? And I define business as three things. Or the core of business, what I call the core of business. The core of business is product, marketing, and sales. These three things are the core to your business. Again, it's product, marketing, and sales. You need a product, something to sell. You need a market, which is the target audience or the people you're selling to. And then you need sales, right? To actually validate everything else that came before it, the product and the marketing, you need sales. And those sales keep your business running. If you do it the right way, you buy margin. I'm sorry, you buy product with margin, and that margin is essentially your profitability, right? Cost of the product. Let's just say it cost me $1 to make a widget, whatever that widget is, or $1 to provide a service. Um, I then sell that or advertise that, market that to a target audience. Those are people that I believe have a need or a want for my product. That need or want typically has uh, a value associated with it to the person that you're selling it to. You have to give something of value. And so because you give them something of value, they then exchange, right, or compensate you by giving you money or closing the sale, right? So that's the thing. Product marketing and sales. That's what business is. Now, the goal is, how do I sell more product, right? The more product you make, the more money you make, given that you have the right margins. So let's go on to the next step. So that's what is business. Okay, I want you to understand something. Your investment is more than just your product. A lot of entrepreneurs invest in their product, right? Let's just say you're trying to launch a t-shirt. You got a t-shirt brand that you want to do, or a clothing brand, apparel line, right? So they put all their money into sourcing t-shirts, right? Finding the t-shirts wholesale, picking the colors. Then they'll find the screen printer. They'll figure out who's going to do that, or they'll get like the vinyl cutter. They'll go buy the hot press or heat press, excuse me. They'll buy all the things that they need to make the product, right? They'll go get a computer, they'll make the graphics, or they'll find a graphic designer to make the graphics, they'll press the shirt, they put all the time and money into creating the product, and then they go, okay, I'm ready to go make a sale. And most entrepreneurs, when you're just starting out, you believe that your initial investment is only in the product and getting a viable product that you can then sell. But I'm going to tell you that the part that people miss out, you have to understand that your initial investment is more than just getting the product available and ready to market. The initial investment has to cover not only the product, right? Getting the t-shirt, finding the graphic designer, getting everything printed, putting everything in boxes, getting shipping labels. Yes, it's all of that. And then a marketing budget. You have to have a marketing budget, right? Because if nobody knows you have a business, then you don't have a business. So you're going to spend all this money getting a product, and now you've got 5,000 boxes of t-shirts just sitting in storage, right? Well, how do you sell them? You have to allocate a certain amount of money for marketing. Create a marketing campaign that promotes the new product that you just spent all this money in creating. So your initial investment is your product and your marketing budget. Well, how much do I need for marketing? I'm not going to get into that right now because there's 101 different ways that we can go down that rabbit hole. Just know for now, you're on the right path, right? You have to ask the question, well, how much do I spend on marketing? That's why you tap into me. It's a much deeper conversation that I can give you in 2 seconds, but a rough estimate is, I don't know, as much money as you can have towards that campaign. You want a realistic hard number? Bare minimum, have $5,000, bare minimum, bare minimum. If you don't have at least that, then you haven't really budgeted anything for marketing. And yes, you're going to go find 101 videos that tell you how you could do something with zero marketing. I promise you that's clickbait. At some point, you're going to need some kind of capital. Stop looking for the easiest way out. The easiest way out is not going to get you to the goal. You don't look at the goal over there and you go, there's a mountain, and spend 20 years trying to find the easiest path. No, you go, that's my goal? All right, well, strap up. Let's go get this. Let's climb over the mountain. Stop looking for the easy way out. Nothing worth having is gotten easily. Like, just you have to look at, this is business we're talking about. This is not some fantasy land. This is your business. Take it seriously and understand that spending money is part of the process. Investing in marketing is part of the process. So, okay, I'm going to get enough off that. All right, moving on. So your real investment is your product and your marketing. Okay, so then why invest in media? Why is media important? In order to understand that, I want you to understand the sales funnel, or what I'd call the decision-making process, right? Before someone makes a decision to buy with you, there's a funnel that they go through, and you're going to see, you Google sales funnels, you'll see 100 different versions. You'll hear the word click funnels now. Everyone's talking about click funnels. How does someone click here, blah, 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 take them to the process of getting them to buy something from you. I break it down into 4 steps, right? The top of the funnel is awareness. People have to be aware of your business first, aware of the problem that you solve. Okay? Awareness is where it starts. After awareness, it goes down into interest. These are people that are interested in your product, right? They maybe not be ready to buy yet, but they're interested. They're at least looking for a shirt, right? Whether or not they buy your shirt, that's another problem. All right. Then it goes down into decision. Now they have a decision to make. So they're aware that you sell t-shirts, right? Then it goes down. They're interested in buying a shirt, but now they get into the decision process, right? What makes the decision? And this is where the brand proposition comes in, right? Why are they going to buy your shirt versus the shirt across the street or right next door? What's the difference? It could be that the brand messaging says something. Maybe it says just do it, or whatever kind of other slogan that fits that person or that person's lifestyle. Or it could be that they're not looking for a t-shirt, they're looking for a button down because they have a certain event that they have to go to and they have to dress a certain kind of way. So that changes the decision. Now, once they've made that decision for whatever reason, you then get the sale. So those are the 4 steps: awareness, interest, decision, and then sale. So that's the process of getting a sale. So how does media help you? Well, media is all about building awareness, right? If nobody knows you have a business, then you don't have a business. So what media allows us to do is create a bunch of content just to say, hey, we're here. Hey, we're here. Hey, we're here. Are you interested in, insert your product here? Are you interested in a t-shirt that says that you're cool, you're hip, you're fly, you're insert here, whatever it is you want to use to attract your target audience? All right, moving into the next step. Okay. Last point I really want to make here. This is not just my opinion, right? I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of study. I've worked with a lot of businesses. So I know that this is the component that a lot of businesses are missing. If you're not making the money you want to be making in your business, chances are one of two things are broke. It's either your system, right? How the business model works. We'll get into that in a whole other video. Or it's your branding or your marketing. You're not doing enough marketing. Those are the two reasons your business is not working right now. Anyway, this is not just my opinion. I want you to understand there's a company called Brand Finance Philosophy. I want you to look them up. Brand Finance Philosophy. These guys work with the top brands. I'm talking about Amazon, Apple, you name it, Nike, right? You name a big, powerful brand. That's who they work with. Brand Finance Philosophy. Look them up. Their whole business is all about equating the brand recognition to the amount of revenue that is generated by the company. Meaning, the more people that are aware of your brand, the more money your company makes. This is proven by this company. This is all that they do, and they prove it with data. So, the point that I'm making is this. You need to build your brand to build your business, right? Build your brand, make sales. Okay, the more people that are aware of your brand, the more sales you will make. It makes sense when you look at it simply from this standpoint. If people know that I have a business, the odds go up that they're going to buy from my business. So going back to what I said earlier, if you want to go ahead and have that be the idea that, well, yeah, see, I'm marketing to everyone. Okay, you run with that and see how well or how efficient that works for you and your business. But anyway, that being said, listen, if you are still here, thank you so very much for your time. I really just wanted to get all this out. I don't want this to be too edited, right? Like I said, I just wanted this to be, we're sitting down having a conversation. If you want to work with me, I'd love to work with you. Who is this for, right? How do I know this is for me? I will say this. If you're in the first 1 to 5 years of your business, and you have not solidified a more than just, oh, no, I work with a videographer, more than just, oh, I work with a social media person, more than just, I work with someone who says they do SEO, right? No. If you have not sat down with a C-level executive to just go over your brand strategy for your business and really put some money behind it, okay, then you haven't properly assessed what your brand is, right? So sit down with me. I'd love to assess your brand. If you're in the first 1 to 5 years and you haven't done this already, and maybe you've said, okay, hey, I got my logo on Fiverr. If you haven't created a cohesive brand end to end throughout your business and really understand your target audience, then just getting a logo is not enough. All right. If you're still here and you're serious about building your business, I'd love to have that conversation with you to see what happens next and how we can maybe work together. I wish you the best of luck in all of your endeavors. And until the next one, peace and love.